If I'm starting a business in a foreign country, and the reason I'm starting a business in a foreign country is because I have a foreign investor or a foreign company wants to join forces with me, form a partnership, a joint venture, I would need to do due diligence on that foreign company. The most common forms of due diligence are certificate of good standings, certified copies, which we get from the registry. Many registries overseas provide much more information than US registries. Many registries will even provide financial data. So the other report, that due diligence report that many people like, is the full status report, which you will get, the name of the company, whether they're active and in good standing, who the shareholders are, who the directors are, whether, what their mortgages are, what their assets are. You do, in some cases, get a full balance sheet. So you can do a lot of research on companies overseas if you're forming a partnership with them when you are yourself forming a company overseas. If we're doing due diligence on a company that has been registered in a tax haven, there is much less information that we are able to obtain. This is because tax havens are high privacy jurisdictions. So therefore, the information that they have to provide to the tax haven when they are registered is much less. There is much less information on public file. Also, when you want to retrieve information for a company in a tax haven, you do tend to have to do so through that company's registered agent there. And we can do this for you. We can contact the registered agent and obtain all necessary documents. However, you should know that that registered agent, for the most part, will have to get permission from their clients before they release any information. Every country is different. Not only is the procedure different in every country, but the requirements are different in every country. So, for instance, forming a company in Delaware, I can form a company for clients in 24 hours, hand the company over to them, and be done with it. If you were going to form a company in Europe, one of the civil law-based countries, it takes a long time to form a company because in those countries you have to go through several ministries. You have to go through the Ministry of Insurance, Ministry of Employment. This is all just to get your company in good standing. You don't just form the company, you have to get all the pieces in place. Going to somewhere like China, not only is it different from province to province, but the laws there, it's such a young business country, the laws there are so dynamic that how you formed it in 1997 is not going to be how you form it in 2007. So, it's actually quite difficult because it takes much longer than you expect, it's going to cost much more than you expect, and, every country is different. We know who the member countries of the Hague Convention are. We have a network in all 50 states to get your documents authenticated. We also have relationships with the consular offices in the big cities and in DC. So we make the whole process very effective, very cost efficient. You send us your documents, we send them back legalized, and you can send them on to the country where you're going to be using them. We have a network all around the world. If we don't already have an agent there, we do work with the World Bank to find people that are there that will do this kind of work for us. When we go overseas, a lot of these countries don't know what a registered agent is. A registered agent is an American product. Overseas, if someone was to accept service of process of your documents, they are almost holding themselves out as your legal representative. So therefore, the liabilities are greater. They want more control over what they do for your company, because what will happen is if you were to do a change of agent overseas in, say, one of the South American countries, they won't do it unless they do the due diligence on the whole background of your company, because the liability follows them. So something like a change of agent, it doesn't happen overseas. The word apostille itself is the French word for certification. An apostille will only apply to a public document under the Hague Convention. So what is a public document? A public document is obviously anything from a government department, the Secretary of State, so your certificate of good standing would be a public document. The other thing that the apostille pertains to, the other thing that falls under the definition of public documents is anything that has been notarized. So a power of attorney between two private parties, if the signature has been notarized, that, for the purposes of the Hague Convention, becomes a public document. That can then be apostilled for use to do business overseas.